What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Barefoot Podcast. I am your host, Davina Shirley. This does look different from previous episodes of the Barefoot Podcast. I had originally premiered a episode for this week, and unfortunately, I had to take it down. And so I'm about to explain and go in detail as to why. And I am going to still answer the viewers' questions. This is live. This is 2/22/24. Okay, that I'm recording this at 11:04 at night. Okay, and so I have my notes here, as y'all can see. It is lengthy, answering the questions, I had to get my thoughts down in order to make sure I articulate everything that I want to say and make sure I say it in a way that is not disrespectful, that doesn't show my anger, that doesn't come off as rude or anything else. Okay. I premiered a new episode of the Barefoot Podcast called Viewers Questions: Sex as a Stronghold. The title within itself should let you know this episode is going to be deep. It is going to be vulnerable. It is going to be open and honest, okay? But I ended up deleting it hours later, and here's why. My parents felt uncomfortable with the conversation because they thought I was revealing too much information and not being prudent about it. They didn't think it represented who I am now, and they were worried about how it may affect them and others. I want to be clear. I didn't want to delete the episode, but because my family is my support and authority, I chose to respect their wishes. Yes, I am 33 years old, but I still respect my parents and I want to honor them, and I don't want them to feel offended by anything that I say or do. And so I took it down. However, I want to express how the comments hurt me. My parents hurt me this time around, okay? Usually they give me advice and they give me guidance on things all the time, okay? And I know it's coming from a loving place, but this felt different. It made me feel like they were ashamed of me, embarrassed by me, and it didn't feel like love. It felt like judgment. It also made me feel belittled and like a child again, like I was 10 and I did something wrong. Even though I'm striving to grow and improve, it feels like they focus more on what I'm doing right instead of recognizing my progress. I can't tell you the countless of conversations I've had prior to the one we had yesterday, where they've, criticized my language using strong language, aka profanity, um, my tight clothing, and even the media I consume and the things I watch, right? While my dad, as y'all saw in the first episode, my dad had a transformative experience that changed him immediately. Um, while my experience has been more gradual and includes struggles and mistakes. I was raised in church, as most people know, and I got baptized when I was like a teenager, early teens. I would say like 13, I think. But it wasn't until I moved here to Denver in 2020, of May of 2020, that I rededicated my life to Christ, and my journey, the transformative part of the journey, actually started happening because in 2018, after my divorce finalized, God was already working in me. But yeah, there was definitely things that still needed to be changed. So in May of 2020, I rediscovered my faith and began making changes in my life. I've been open about my journey on social media, sharing both my successes and struggles. I believe in being transparent because it helps me stay accountable and may inspire others. I create content for youth and young adults, aged between 13 and 35, with the aim of being relatable and encouraging. The deleted episode addressed a tough topic around sex and sex trauma that I've experienced. I wanted to share my story to help others going through similar challenges. All the recordings for Bear Fruit Podcast was back in June of 2023. Within the 8 months time frame now, I've made changes in my life, like not using profanity, still abstaining from sex, and I'm not drinking. While I'm proud of my growth, I'm also aware that transformation in Christ takes time. I'm still a working progress, y'all. Deleting this episode was a difficult decision, but I did it out of respect for my family and our relationship. Moving forward, I'll strive to communicate my thoughts and feelings more effectively while staying true to myself. The rest of the podcast episodes will air whether the content reflects who I am today or not, because I feel the message is bigger. So if anybody follows me and been following me, y'all know, if you go back on my IG, just put it that way, I still have old stuff up. I still have things that I've said that I don't, that's not who I am now, but I keep it up. And every time when I go back and look at that stuff, I'll be like, man, I should delete this because I'm so far. But it's a reminder. It's a reminder how far God has brought me. It is a reminder that you can be changed. It is a reminder that you can be transformed. That's why I keep it on my page. And so therefore, use that same discretion and use that same state of mind when you are watching these further episodes of the Bear Fruit Podcast, because no, I'm not in the same mindset as I was 8 months ago. The Bear Fruit Podcast is about being honest and vulnerable, hence the name. I spelled it BARE for a reason, okay? Bare means not clothed or covered. I spent a long time hiding and trying to cover up what I've experienced and the challenges I faced. I refuse to hide or be ashamed of my past because God has redeemed me. My journey may not be perfect, but it's a testament of God's grace in the process of transformation. Progression over perfection, people. That's what I mean when I'm saying all this. And oh, thank you, Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit just dropped this on me. It wasn't until Eve and Adam ate from the forbidden fruit where they started covering themselves up. God didn't want us covered up. He wanted us not clothed. He wanted us uncovered. This is my life, people. I experienced these things. And I know there's people that can relate to the things that I've experienced, which is why I want to tell it in order to help them get free. Because a lot of people who went through what I went through is not where I'm at right now. So therefore, I want to speak on their behalf and show them that it is possible and that there's light at the end of the tunnel. I don't mean to cause offense or anything. And just let me say this as well. I'm never coming on here to just be real and like tell all my business just because. It's not about keeping it real. It's about keeping it honest. It's about keeping myself accountable. It's about keeping it in the light. The more you talk about something, the more light is exposed to it, the more that it can't get to you, the more it doesn't affect you, because now it's to the light. You got people that know about it, that can keep you accountable, that can hold, that can say, Davina, don't do that. I know how far you've come. Davina, don't do that. You don't want to make that mistake. Remember when you remember this? You really want to go back to that? That's why I say the things that I say. And trust me, as much as I'm open and honest on this platform and have been open and honest on my social media pages through content and so forth like that, y'all don't even know the half. Y'all don't even know the half of it. And I only speak on what I feel led to speak on. I don't know how many times I've talked about sex and how sex has been an issue and everything. I've talked around the subject. But at that point when we were recording, I was like, all the conversations that I had around this topic, I had with my parents. I've had my sisters know. At least I know they know um, majority of the stories as well. And so when I said what I said, it wasn't like, oh, I don't care what they think, or that they didn't have no clue about it. No, they knew these stories. They knew this stuff happened. Again, I just don't be saying stuff just to be saying it. If I want to keep something to myself, I can answer a question and tiptoe around the subject without getting so deep and detailed and personal. And my parents felt like I was being too personal, but again, I'm an all in type of person. It's a part of my core values and principles that I stand on. And that means I'm also all in when it comes to being transparent with the people who are watching me. I want y'all to know that this is not no cookie cutter life coach that tries to make the highlight reels their life. I go through real stuff. I deal with real issues. I deal with hurt still. I still deal with pain. I'm still on a transformation journey. I still have mentors, guidance, people that I submit myself to, and everything like that to make sure I am good and that I can continue this work and be of help to pull out what God has put in you and pull that thing out of you in a good way, like making you recognize it, because that could go wrong for some people. But yeah, allowing you to realize what God put in you in order for you to spread it out to the world and use it to reach others. This is why I chose coaching versus doing therapy. I like conversation. I like engaging and having a back and forth with my clients. But we're going to get into these questions. So, the very first question that I went over was, how did sex become a stronghold for you? Let's define a stronghold. A spiritual stronghold refers to deeply ingrained beliefs, thought patterns, or behaviors that hinder an individual's spiritual growth and connection with higher principles. Breaking these strongholds involves self awareness, prayer, and intentional efforts to replace negative beliefs with positive, faith affirming ones. In the Bible, the concept of sexual immorality is frequently addressed, and it can be understood as a potential stronghold when it becomes a dominating force in your life, leading to harmful behaviors and attitudes. Here are some ways in which sex can become a stronghold. Idolatry. When sexual desires and behaviors become the primary focus or idol in one's life, it can lead to distortion of priorities and values. Addiction. Like any other behavior or substance, sex can become addictive, leading to compulsive and destructive patterns of behavior. I used to call myself Savage Sag because at that time, after my separation, I would say we wasn't even fully divorced yet. After my separation from my husband, I was heartbroken. But did I show it as heartbreak, like crying every single day? No. I showed it as, I'm just going to get mine however I want to. I'm just going to use these dudes like they've been using me throughout the years, and that's it. I would have my person, and yeah, sex became an addiction, which led to like exploitation and abuse. I was abusing sex by having sex with someone that wasn't, again, my husband. Still married, even though we were separated, but we weren't legally separated. And I'm just using it to my advantage to to get what I want, and that's manipulation. Adultery and fornication again. Guilty. Guilty. And I don't mean to laugh. If y'all hear me laugh, I've said this plenty of times. I have a nervous laugh. Okay, when I'm talking about when I feel embarrassed, when I'm talking about uncomfortable things, I laugh. Okay, and it stuck with me, and I feel like this is another. It comes with the whole sex trauma stuff that I went through. But yeah, that is just a thing that's developed over the years, and now I can't really get rid of it, but I'm trying. So, adultery and fornication, engaging in sexual activity outside of the bounds of marriage, whether through adultery or fornication, can lead to guilt, shame, and broken relationships. Truth. Okay, truth. I definitely felt all of that. Distorted views of sexuality. I can definitely say that I had distorted views because I definitely felt like men only liked me. And I said this in my uh, Fruitful Life Coaching, How to Live a Fruitful Life workshop. I said this, that I felt like men only wanted me for sex. And therefore, when you feel like men only want you for sex, that's what you offer up. When the seed was planted, I had to be about 6. And my age is and stuff like that could be wrong. So, but I'm assuming I was like 5 or 6. I don't know what happened, but I had like stepped on the remote and it got on a porn channel. Now it was fuzzy. It's one of those old TVs where you could barely kind of make out what was going, but just enough to where you could kind of see what was going on. It was this woman giving fellatio to a man. You would think that, oh, this is the wrong channel, turn it off. But yet I was stuck. I froze. And freezing, fight, flight, freeze. Um, Freeze is a response for me when it comes to sexual activity at times. And if I'm in a position that I really don't want to be in, I will freeze. That has happened to me on multiple occasions, multiple situations where I freezed up and I just allowed whatever to happen. My parents end up coming home and it's still on the channel. They was like, why didn't you just turn off the TV? And I was just like, I don't know, because I never saw anything like that. Now, over the years, several things happened where I was taken advantage of. The very last experience that I had was when I turned 29. I was at a party close to my birthday. I went. Everybody knew it was my birthday, so I'm drinking a lot of Long Island iced teas because it was my it was my favorite drink. Okay, my drink of choice when drinking. Okay, by the time the night ended, the party ended, I don't remember anything. And I knew I was going to get lit that night, so I made plans. Like I told my friend at the time, like, yo, can I spend the night at your house? I ride with you, you drive, because she didn't drink. And so I was like, oh, let me ride with you, come back, chill at your crib. I'll leave out in the morning. She was like, cool, cool, cool. So by the time we left, all I remember is getting in the car. I don't remember getting out the car or anything else from that night. But the next morning, I wake up and I have a text on my phone from a guy that I was talking to at the time. And he's like, did you have sexual relations with somebody else last night? And I'm like, nah. And so he's like, are you sure? Because so and so, which was my friend's friend, said that you had sex with this random guy. And I was like, no. And so I'm getting up out the bed, trying to find where my friend is. She's nowhere to be found. There's nobody next to me or near me. So I'm just like, I don't know what he's talking about. And I look through my phone and I see a text from this random person. And that like last night was fun. And I'm just like, what's going on? He was like, you don't remember me from last night? I was like, so I'm starting to put things together from based off of what the guy I was talking to was messaging me about. And so I was just like, well, what? Why would my friend do this? And it's all because her other friend didn't like the fact that I was talking to the guy I was talking to because she liked him. I didn't have concrete proof. I mean, I had proof, but I don't think it would have stood if I went to the police or anything like that. So I just let it be. And in a lot of these situations, I let it be because God can punish people better than I can. So um, I just let stuff be for the most part. I try not to um, let it consume me. And so those are two experiences. And everybody knows, at least I've talked about it previously, that I've had miscarriage. The relationship that I got into right after my husband, I ended up getting pregnant by him, and I had an abortion for multiple reasons, which I won't go into. I have talked about it previously, so you may be able to go on my page and find the details on that, but I won't go into detail about it right now. That did so much damage on me, and I knew I had to make a change because, especially with the abortion, because that was never on the table for me. That was never an option for me. And so I went on an abstinence journey, and I was just like, I'm not having sex. And for someone who was having sex, that was a hard decision to make, but I knew it was the right decision to make. I just was tunnel vision. I was just like, let me go back to the basics, at least to what I know, which is, praying, reading my word, fasting, all that, right? Which you can still go see those videos. Those videos are still up on my IG. And it wasn't until I moved out here to Denver, May of 2020, that's when I finished watching Mike Todd's Relationship Goals. And I ended up watching that whole series, and I ended up rededicating my life to Christ. And ever since, that's the transformation that's happened in my life. And so I very much, I, even after all this time of, in and out of abstinence, because it was again, it's a stronghold. And so I can't say that I dedicated myself to abstinence since then and been clean since. I can't say that. Okay. The longest I've gone without sex is a year and 9 months. Like I know God can take it away. I know he can, but the taking away is going to take time because it took time for it to get um, weeded up in me. And so I had to weed it out. It's going to take time to weed that thing out. And so um, I still very much struggle with sex, and the late nights that I have. It ain't always about I'm just up. It's about I'm fighting for my life. It's in my bed because I want to masturbate, or I want to, and in order for me to masturbate, sometimes I gotta watch porn, which that's why porn gets put in there, because I wouldn't watch porn for any other reason. I need to hear something in order to get going, which may be too much information, but I would be like, Lord, what do you want me to do? I have these urges, I have these desires. You know, this is a stronghold for me, and I don't want to go out here make any more soul ties with anybody else and get connected with somebody that I don't even want to be with for real and everything like that just because of sex. And so, do you want me to go have sex, or do you want me to, or do you want me to have fun with myself? Because one of these got to give, and that's how I would talk to God at the beginning, and even sometimes now when it gets too strong, to be honest. But the thing is that the more that I resist the temptation to do whatever I want to do. And the more that I seek Him, the easier it becomes for me to be like, no, just go to sleep. Go drink some tea or something like that. Go work out. Go do something else besides this. I am slowly but surely not allowing sex to become a stronghold for me. And so I know that was a very long and drawn out answer and response, but I wanted y'all to get it. So that's that. Let me go to the next thing. The next question was, what should I be looking for in a mentor? Along with my coaching, I do mentoring services. And what I tell people when they're seeking out a mentor, consider these key qualities. Look for someone with relevant experience and expertise in the field of area of interest to you. Find a mentor whose values, communication style, and personality aligns with yours. Is this a person that that you respect enough to actually listen to their guidance and teachings? Your mentor is actively communicating with you, actively listening, actively providing you with tools that will help you reach your goals. Make sure that mentor has availability for you. I know, like with my mentees right now, I've had to cut back. I was meeting with them every week, and I've had to cut back to just every other week because of school. Things change, things happen, but you definitely want a mentor who is available to you at least once a week. Look for a mentor who is committed to their own growth and development. Like as you're achieving things, your mentor should be achieving things. So overall, you want to just trust your instinct and choose someone who you believe can support and guide your path. Okay. The next question is, why do you want to get married again? And the follow-up questions to that is, have I seen what a true marriage is? And did I have true love in my first marriage? I know the blessings that come with a marriage. I've had plenty of examples of healthy marriages and relationships around me. And so I desire that and I know I can have it. And did I have true love in my first marriage? Yes. If nothing else, I did know he loved me. He didn't know how to express it at times, but I know that man loved me. He would fight for me. I know he loved me because he was willing to raise that child. My ex-husband, if he felt like I talked bad about him and didn't give him any like praise or anything like that on being a good husband, let me say this now. He was a great man, hardworking man, very clean man. He was took care. I don't want to lie. I don't want to lie, but he was a clean man. He was a hardworking man. He had talent, a lot of ambition, things. He's a great dancer. Always can make me laugh. He knows when I'm smiling. He knows what to do to make me happy and everything like that. He knows. I know he loved me deeply. The next question was, why am I single? And the sub question to that is, what do you have to offer a man? I'm single because there was a lot that I need to learn, a lot that I needed to be by myself for, a lot that I need to heal from, and a lot that I needed to just take care of me. I need to make sure I was straight. I need to make sure that none of that baggage, none of the stuff that I've been avoiding, none of the stuff that I just let sweep under the rug, threw up in the closet. I needed to clean all that out. I had a clean house, all right? And I had to work on those things when the next man came and comes, that I will be ready to give him something that no other man has ever experienced. And when it comes to what do you have to offer a man, I'm just going to read this devotional from this book here, A Woman of Purpose and Power by Dr. Miles Monroe. I'm just going to read this. Remember this, okay? This came out of day 35 of this book, all right? Luke 6:38. As women, we are blessed with a sacred gift, the ability to bring forth life in its multifaceted forms, just as the earth receives the seed and brings forth abundance. So do we possess the capacity for nurture and give life in physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual realms. You have a keen eye for potential and possibility, seeing beyond the surface to envision what could be. Pondering and processing. Your mind is a maze of thoughts and emotions where words, actions, and relationships intertwine, awaiting your discernment and reflection. Conception and invention. From the seeds of inspiration, you conceive and invent, bringing into existence that which was once only a thought or idea. Development and protection, you diligently nurture and protect the seeds of creativity, ensuring they have the space and time to grow and flourish. Production and multiplication, like a gardener tending to her harvest. You produce something new from what you have received, multiplying the blessings bestowed upon you. Just as God created man out of himself, you, dear sister, bring forth new life from within yourself. Your womb is not limited to the physical realm, but extends every aspect of your being. Embrace the divine within you, for it is through this sacred space that you have the power to transform lives and illuminate the world with your unique gifts. Settle on that, boo. Next question. I struggle with social anxiety. How can I navigate it? I've worked with several clients on this issue. So here are some things that I've told my clients with social anxiety. Practice relaxation techniques. My biggest thing is deep breathing. All right. Do a daily deep breathing routine. Because one of these, okay, just one of those will lower whatever anxiety, stress that you may be feeling that is high on you, all right? Challenge negative thoughts. Again, referencing back to my workshop, I said that the way that you challenge negative thoughts is by doing what the negative thought is telling you not to do. And the example that I said in the workshop is like me doing the workshop. I was very nervous because I'm not a great talker. I'm a conversationalist. As I was preparing for my workshop, the devil was like, "You can't do this. You ain't know what you think you is. You think you a speaker? You think you gonna get in front of all these folks and tell them what to do when you still da 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 da?" So you challenge that by doing exactly what the devil's telling you what you can't do. So for you, it could be a dance that is happening at your school, right? Because there's a lot of people, faces that you don't know, and everything like that, that could cause anxiety, right? And so let me just go and see what it's about. It may not be as bad as I think it is, because we can make up a lot of things in our head, thinking it's going to be as bad as what we're envisioning, but it's not. And so you just go and you may even enjoy yourself, right? You may even enjoy yourself, may find a new friend and everything like that. And it's just like, you know what? It wasn't that bad. I could do this. And so you just make baby steps like that, okay? Now, going to a game or a party might be too much. So it's just like, is there something smaller that you can go to where you know it's not going to be that many people? but it's just enough people that may make you a little bit uncomfortable, but you can gradually enter that space feeling a little bit less intimidated, right? And navigate and address any triggers you may have, anxiety triggers, okay? Focus on the present moment. Again, don't allow your mind to make up things that is not presently happening, okay? Be in the moment. Seek support through a mentor, a coach, friends, family, a therapist. Um, you just want to make sure that you have the support system that you need in order to help you in these situations. You got to have people that know what you're struggling with. If nobody knows what you're struggling with, then how can they help you? So you definitely want to at least have one or two people around you that knows that social anxiety is a thing for me, people, and I need y'all to just check up on me. So slowly navigate into this and enjoy the process. Don't rush. There's no rush. There's no rush. You're working on it, so nobody's rushing you. All right, go at a pace that is comfortable for you. Last one. What made me a believer in Christ? As I said earlier, even though I was raised in the church, raised in a Christian household, and knew of God, I didn't have a relationship with God. I didn't start building my relationship with God until 2020. It was an encounter. I had an encounter with Christ, meaning I had a personal and spiritual experience in which I felt the presence of God, Jesus Christ, but just surrounding me with his love, joy, peace, emotional experience. I was crying, but just crying out of healing and spiritual cleansing of myself. The insight that I have now, I have new revelation on things. Now when I read the Bible, I'm like, wait, hold up, what? I'm asking questions. I'm engaged. The conviction. I was convicted about a lot of things. Did it happen right away? No. But am I on this journey? Am I constantly changing and doing things differently than what I did before? Yes. And I know what life is like before Jesus, and I know what it's like after. And after has been so much sweeter, so much more peaceful, and has been filled with so much joy that I can't even comprehend. Even on my worst day, I'm blessed. I'm grateful for it all because it got me to this point, made me who I am today. It all got me to him. Because love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. I think I got them all. I think I got them all, but all those, that's what really matters. And there's so many people living outside of that. And I just want people to know that that's what's on the other side. That's what is on the other side waiting on you when you give your life to Christ, when you really surrender to his will. That's what's waiting on them. You try to fill it with sex. You try to fill it with drinking. You try to fill it with pills. You try to fill it in other ways, people. Stop avoiding what you really need. You think you have so much time. Teens, you think you have so much time. You don't. It could be gone just like that. Here today, gone tomorrow. In a blink of an eye. Do what you have to do right now. And like I said, it's not going to be an instant thing, but make the decision at least to walk differently, to walk down a different path, to choose differently, make a different decision than what you've been making that is going to lead you down a better path. It is rough, it is tough, it is hard, it is not easy, but you do this work, you put that work in, you surrender yourself to him. I promise you, that's a decision that you will never regret. I pray for anyone who has gone through abuse and manipulation trauma, similar to what I've described or worse, that, God will heal you from that, from those situations, And I pray that you will start talking about it. It don't have to be on a platform like this, but I pray that you will start talking to someone, whether it be a family member, a friend, a therapist, a coach. I pray that you will talk to somebody about it. The more that you talk about the things that are bothering you, that are keeping you down, keeping you depressed, keeping you stressed, keeping you emotionally drained and exhausted, the more that it comes to light and the less power it has. Truthfully, I want to see everybody living a fruitful life. If you didn't check out the How to Live a Fruitful Life workshop, please go back and watch that. That's all I got. I've said enough. I will catch y'all on the next episode of the Bear Fruit Podcast. Love y'all.